My name is David Miloradovic. I come originally from Serbia. I have a double nationality, Serbian and Hungarian, and actually I'm based in Switzerland, in Lausanne, which is, of course, known capital of Olympics. And at the moment, I'm working as a handball coach. As I said, I come from Serbia, and Serbia is a very known country as a sports country, especially now because of Novak Djokovic and basketball and handball, football also. So I grew up in a small city just at the north of the country, just at the border with Hungary. The city is named Subotica, and it's known also as a sports city because we have a lot of sports at the highest level competition in Serbia. So my childhood was, I'm born at 87. So at the beginning of 19th, it was hard time. We had a civil war, difficult times, embargo. So for us, for the kids, it was not easy growing up. But I have also to admit that the sports took us outside. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have these new games that the new generation had. So I remember I grew up in a small village, and we had a football court next to my street. Where there was a lot of kids, and back then everybody played football, soccer. And you know how it goes. If the national team has a success in basketball, everybody plays basketball. If you have succession in football, everybody plays foot. But I remember back then we grew up with this big basketball team, like Djordjevic, Divac, and a lot of NBA players, Dražen Petrovic from Croatia, and we didn't have so big infrastructure, so we took the old bikes from our parents, and we took out the tire, and you have this wheel, aluminum wheel, that we put it next to the tree, and we played basketball so long, and it was a great time, great childhood with no worries. And after that I started, how it goes in the school. I started to play soccer for 4 years. I was let's say from first until fourth grade. I was not so good, I need to say, honestly. But after that, I need to say that I discovered handball just by accident, because in my hometown village, we had lucky that the women's and the men's team were qualified for the highest level. And after the school, they proposed some classes for the handball session. I went just by hazard with my friends, and that's how I discovered handball, and that's how I fall in love after that. You cannot say that it was professionally, because in junior team you never know how it goes. Your parents, they say you need to be good at school, and the sports goes on this side. Of course, that my parents, they supported me, and my father, he's passion for the sports, soccer, athletic, and also everything which is team sports. And I just we trained every day, and like the kid, you want to have fun, you want to take a pleasure, and you don't even know that this work and this investment every day brings you better and makes you better. So I need to say, after 4 years of this investment and following the adult teams which played in senior highest league in Serbia, back then it was Yugoslavia, like I said, and as I became better and better, I got taller, I got developed, the first team, the adult team, they proposed me a professional contract. So my first professional contract was for this team called Radnički Fidelinka. We played in the A League, and it was 2004, so I was 17. Yeah, I was 16, 17 years old. And as I started at 2004, I never stopped until last year. So yes, I played professionally and highest level handball. Let's say from this distance, I can say that I was always a supporter of the knowledge. Of course, the talent, it's important, but I think you will agree also with me and your viewers that if you don't work, if you are not persistent, if you don't invest yourself, you don't have, talent cannot be your, angel on the shoulder from through your whole career. So I was always doing this. I always wanted to know, okay, we did this exercise, why did we do this, and what does it serve? And yeah, I was always passionate for the handball in this term, but I never knew that, and I never wanted at the beginning, I never wanted to become a coach. During my career as a professional player, I had the opportunity to be trained from 3 world champion. So one of them, he is Jevremovic, coach Nikola Jevremovic, very known in Serbia. He was the champion of the world with the junior team under 21, I think, from Yugoslavia. After that, I was trained by Zoran Živkovic. He's very known in the handball world. He was twice champion of the world, one time as a player and one time as a coach. Also, he won the Olympics with the national team of Yugoslavia. So I was coached by him, and also I was coached by Zlatko Portner. Unfortunately, he died last year. He was one big mentor of mine. As I finished my playing career, he was next to me. We played the same position. He was a center back. I was also a center back. And we shared a lot of these successful moments from the Yugoslavia and his club, because he played in Metaloplastica. He was 2 times champion of the Europe with them and 1 time with Barcelona. And we shared a lot, and that's how I started to think. With all of this knowledge, all of this passion, I said, yeah, why not give it a try as a coach? So that's how it became my let's say my handball prolongation of staying, let's say, in handball and to give it a try as a coach also. I'm also a big passionate for this documentaries about sport, and you have it a lot now, of course, with Netflix, with all of these platforms, production teams. You have a lot of different movies, and I was watching, and one of the biggest that had impacted also on me. It's outside from handball. It's Željko Obradovic. He's a basketball coach, 9-time champion of the Europe with different teams, and I was listening a lot of his interviews, and I agree with him. I was a type of coach that, if I was a, let's say, good player, I don't want to brag about myself, but if you are a good player, doesn't mean that you can be a good coach. So I wanted to learn everything. I wanted to take all of the knowledge from the books, from the different seminars, from the courses, from sharing experience with all the players, all the coaches, and I tried to collect everything I could. And I never wanted to come on the training session not knowing something. If some player asked me, okay, coach, why do we do this or that, I always wanted to be sure that I can give a response. So for me, this transition was quite stressful. But more and more I work as a coach. Now it has been 3 years already. It became a routine, and it became, let's say, much more easier. It doesn't mean that it's easy, but you get more and more confidence in you. If you work on yourself, if you follow, let's say, some courses, some seminars, and you don't have to be worried about. And especially like a player, you get confidence by repeating your movement and same exercise for 1,000 times. Also, as a coach, you need to watch the games, you need to learn, you need to follow. And one also important thing, you have to learn from the players, because they also take a part on this sport game, in this sport. So you have to learn from them also, because this is life thing, if we can say, and this is the two-way street, So I think that this transition was quite disturbing for me. But on the same time, my first year as a coach, I was a player coach, and I had also a good team of the players. So yeah, it was a 50-50, if I can say. I'm a type of the coach also with this mindset that I think that yeah, of course, there is a lot of examples that ex-professional players, they get right away the big project. And we have, let's say in handball, we have this project from THV Kiel, actual champion of the Europe. They won the Champions League. The ex-player Philippe Hija, he got a if we can say, he got the hot potato in his hands, but right away he was successful. We have a lot of examples like this. Me personally, I always thought that I want to do step by step, especially because now I live in this part of Switzerland that handball is a little bit less developed. If we look the German part of Switzerland, and I wanted to go, let's say, from the not the lowest level, but let's say a middle range. At the beginning, I was a coach from the one senior team, and if I can say it worked very well. But from my side, as I started to follow the courses for the license, taking a license for being a coach, you have to also understand how it works on the lower level, and also how it works with the kids. If somebody thinks that it's easier to coach the kids than adults, it's has no sense. It's twice much harder to coach the kids. You have to be a pedagogue also. You have to transfer this knowledge to the kids. Sometimes they don't understand everything. Of course, I have this language barrier also. I'm not born in Switzerland. I speak French, but I am not so fluent. So sometimes you have also this difficulty. Yeah, so for me, it was a big challenge that I accept to work also at the beginning with the kids. And I need to say, with my regional association, because in this part of Switzerland we have an association of the canton region that it's called Association Vaudoise Handball. And I coach the best youngsters under 15 years. So it's more or less like a selection of the best boys under 15 years, which already have some advanced level of handball knowledge, and they are passionate for the sport. So which is also important if we say that we live in Switzerland, which is not so known country for the handball. You need to have the kids that they want to watch the game, they know the sport, they want to invest some spare time that they have, and we know that they have a lot of now. They can go skiing, they can go hiking, they can do some video games, and for me it was quite important also. So from this side, I took I think very nice project, and we try to reach the highest level possible for this generation. This is one point that I choose. Another point, I work also in the sports academy. This is not a club. This is a sports school that provides some supplementary training sessions, let's say more or less based on the technical development and work on specifics, which is good field for me, as I was a ex-professional coach, and we know that everything goes by the details, So I work also in the formational in the school, and also I work in one project which is attached to the Geneva Association Handball, also in the sports academy. So all this permits myself to grow as a coach and to discover the handball from the ground level. I think that at the beginning I already said to you, the part of my answer is based that I'm a coach that really likes to pay attention on the details. We know that the sport, and especially this medicine and health protection in sport, has advanced enormously in last 10, 15, 20 years. And we know that everybody has a possibility to prepare his team physically at the highest level possible. We all have this condition coaching, mental coaches. We have already clinics, the physiotherapists, and everything. So we know that we start from the same ground. But for me, my philosophy is that you need to have a passion for the sport. You need to go at home to watch the game. You need to watch the world champion, European championship, the games of the national team, the games of the different champions, France, the Bundesliga from Germany. This is already one thing, because you can learn a lot just by watching the sport, of course. After that, my philosophy is also I'm a guy that likes to follow the big coach helped me, San Antonio Spurs, Greg Popovich. He said one thing, that attack wins the game and defense wins the championship. So for me, whatever you do, I'm a coach that supports this philosophy of the strong defense, because the handball is a contact sport. You need to be prepared. There is a lot of contact and falls and jumps and accelerations, change of directions. So I am the coach that really likes this philosophy, that you have the really good basic, you are supported by the techniques, you have the good mental and physical strength. And me personally, I like to create the warriors. I'm not the coach that wants to give one goal plus. I'm the coach that likes to receive one goal less. So my philosophy of, let's say, handball, not the sports, but the handball, for sure is that. And if you ask me what is my philosophy generally about sport, is like to respect the whole environment which is around you, your colleagues on the field, the referees, your coaches, the parents on the tribune, and also if you look from the side of development, let's say if we look the highest level, this movement, you have a lot of influence from the social network, from media, from marketing. You also have to consider this part of the sports. So for me, myself, I'm humble. I like to stay calm and down. I like to be confident, so I like to work on myself. So I have the big work ethics, and everything what comes next, is just it's plus. At the moment, we hope that we will continue, and as it goes, we will continue our championship. Is to bring at the highest level possible this team that I coach right now. So we try to go in the elite level of the competition. It's the best level for these youngs. This is the, let's say, short-term objective. In global term, and challenge for me is to rise as a coach, to follow the different licenses, to have as much as possible higher license I can, to share the experience, to get the experience from the others, of course, more experience than me as a coach, and to prove myself that I can be at the same level. At least if I can be the coach at the same level as I was as a player, I will be quite happy. Me personally, I have two, let's say, different objectives when I do a motivation of the players. I constantly, as I said to you, I like to give my players to the superior category as much as ready as possible for the bigger challenges. I learned something also from the one friend of mine, and he was also a coach, Dragan Jukic. He's from Serbia, and also Klaus Feldman from Germany. They are very known in the handball world. I learned that the limit is not in their head. The limits are not the kids and the players. The limits we have is ours, the coaches. So myself, I try to make them discover as much as possible they can, because they are kids and they learn quite fast. My main objective also is that when we speak about the motivation, is to make the warriors. Normally the kids, they are a little bit afraid of the contact, especially they don't know the handball. And I will say a small anecdote from one kid. I will not say the name, of course. Just day before the practice, he asked me, coach, do we have what should we do tomorrow? What will we do tomorrow? I said, there is a program, you will do this, we will do that. And he asked me, do we have the contact? I said, I was laughing. I said, yeah, of course, we will always have the contact because handball is a contact sport. And he was like sad. So the point is that I think in this level, of course, next to the handball thing, they need to learn to be aggressive, but respectfully aggressive to the opponent. So my main goal is to make the warriors so they can do the quite active handball. And if we look now, the high level handball, you have a lot of running, a lot of contact, a lot of sprints, a lot of change of direction, and you cannot do that. And as long as you keep that on the low level, and as higher they go by the category, they have a problem to accept that. So that's why I on the general level of the motivation, I always try to make this, let's say, tension on the training session, that okay, we are quite exhausted after the session, but we learned something, at least. As I always say in handball, because you have a lot of movement, ups and down, left and right, I said, if you made some mistake in the defense, let's say, for example, just okay, put your heart and put yourself inside, put your motivation, and just run. Of course, by making mistake and staying in the place, you are not doing anything good. But if you are constantly under this tension, it's quite important, let's say, for the handball. And every practice I try to put them on. I try to put the small games between themselves, like small competitions between them, by doing some exercise. This is the one thing. And the next stuff is motivation. If you consider the game preparation, of course, you try to make them relax, try to make them confident, that they can win the game, but with a dose of this self-esteem and the respect for the opponent. So yes, I want to come on the court knowing that I will beat you, but not that I don't respect you, because it can punch you in the face. So for me, this is quite important thing. And I'm always the coach that if I win by 10 goals or I lose by 10 goals, I keep the same mentality, and I try to transfer that motivation to the kids, to teach them to have the same mentality all the time. And you know what? You never know. We had a million of examples of this sport events that opponent winning by 3 goals or 10 goals, whatever sport we speak about. That you have it in the tennis field, on the NBA, and you lose. Your opponent, he recovers and wins the game, and it becomes the historic win. So I think that it's also important that kids, they discover the other sports and try to find this kind of a motivation from the other sports, and to transfer that to the game also. So for me, this is the two kind of a way of motivation that I support, and I work with the team. I will try to answer you with one sentence. One thing is that what really works with the kids is, like, if you try to make some ground rules, let's say, it works very well if you show the example first as a coach. So if you show me personally, as I said, I'm a passion for the handball and for the, I try to do everything as much as perfect, as much as better possible. So for example, I'm never late. I always come before. My shoes are always tight, prepared. My socks, I have the sport socks. First of all, that everybody learns with me is, like, I don't accept nobody coming on the field with the short socks, like this, like when you go walking outside. The first thing that the kids learn is how to come because I think also this visual effect is quite important. Because if you come on the training session and let's say you play handball, I don't care which brand of the t-shirt you will take with you, but of course you don't come with the athlete t-shirt on the handball session, or you don't come with the let's say Hawaii t-shirt or with the polo t-shirt on the handball training. Maybe you come when you play rugby, but you don't come on the handball field. You know what I mean. So between the sports, we have all this culture of behave and culture of the clothes, and I try to establish that as a ground rule at first. So, but having these rules doesn't mean that, okay, we cannot go outside from the rules sometimes. Okay, for me, the most important is how much often we go outside from the rules. That is not good, of course, and how as fast as possible, how fast we come back in this, let's say, one street that has established by a coach, for example. Also, there are some other rules that I establish with them. This is quite important because, as I said, this is two-way street. If everything comes from your side, all of this, what I speak, it's from my point of view, to be clear. I think that if we make some rules together, and especially when you make them, subconsciously, when they make some ground rules, they will respect it more. And then when I show them that I respect their rules, they will respect yours. So this is, let's say, also one philosophy of mine, that we work also as a family. Because if one guy has a problem, everybody has a problem. If I have a problem, they have also a problem. And one thing that also I think that doesn't work so much, I said this respect is quite important, and you have to go back. Doesn't matter if you train the under 13, 15, 17, 19, first team. Everybody has their problems. But if you make them important, they will overpass. I remember my first training session when I did with the kids. I had two boys crying at my middle of my session. But as I see them grow now, they said, "Okay, coach, we understand everything what you said back then." And for me, my side, as I said, especially, the handball is another football. It's not soccer. So you cannot earn your life with one contract or something like that. So for us, for the handball, we have also this responsibility to develop. For example, we speak about kids. We have this responsibility to develop them also as a humans, as a human beings, as adults tomorrow. So this is quite also important. Yeah, yeah, I agree 100%. Again, it depends of the philosophy. It depends. That's why when you ask me which project I accepted to work, it's not only important for me what I want. It's also important that what club or association wants from me, because if we accept the work only because of the contract or because of the financial aspect or something, but if you are not on the same line with their thoughts, it becomes a problem on the field. And of course, if I train, for example, one team that doesn't have any high expectations from them, it's just let's say leisure or amusement for them, and me personally as a coach, I have high expectations. Of course, that I will push them to the limit, and it will burn them up. So we also have to accept the projects also by knowing what the other side wants from you and what the other side wants from these kids. And especially if you add to this relation with the parents, which also have sometimes high expectations from you, from the club, from the kid. But the kid itself, he likes to have fun. And always I say, we forgot this thing, that this kid, he doesn't know, or she doesn't know what is the high level sports, or they heard or they knew something about it, that you can live like being a professional athlete. Okay, of course, if we don't speak about the gymnastics, because they start at a small age, they don't know. So you have to take care that this kid has a fun, because if he has a fun, he will ask for more. if he doesn't feel good. We are in the free country. We have a democracy. And now, believe me, the kids, they know their rights. And if he doesn't like something, he will tell you. And after that, if you constantly burn him up, he will go away. He will say to his parents, "Okay, I don't feel good. I don't want to go there." So this is also one important aspect that, from my point of view, why I accepted to work with the kids, is also to see if I can work in this environment and make them happy on the field. If I can, for myself, let's say, if we speak about this period of Corona situation, the clubs, they had really big problems keeping the kids interested for the sports. I hear a lot of clubs, they have a problem because half of the kids, they said already, I don't want to continue with the sports, because of course he forgot to play. If you looked at some clubs, they didn't train for 6 years, 6 months or 1 year. That's a bigger problem. Me personally, with my team, we always took care of the measures of this medical protection, and I'm happy that I didn't lose even one single kid. For me, this was a big objective, even bigger than winning a game now. So I think it's also quite important from this side that the coach understands the environment and puts his or mine beliefs and the dreams about, and my goals, objectives personally, at the same, let's say, level as a kids and parents. I can say from my point of view, because I came up, as I said, from Serbia, that we have a high expectations about sports, and right away when you enter in one selection team, or somebody says to you, you have the talent, we are quite focused on the sport, and everything goes away. And we also have to be careful about this. Myself, I always speak for my example. I had this talent. I was in a selection, a national team as a young. I was quite talented. I entered quite early in this professional world from as I was 17 in the higher level. And you know what? My parents were behind. They said, "Okay, you want to do this? Okay, we let you do this, but you have to follow the school. You have to follow the education." And you know what? Like I said, we are not in the soccer world, and I think that you will agree with me that 80% of the money from the sports business, it's in the soccer, and 20% is everything else. So it's quite hard to expect that you will earn your life by playing, I don't know, handball or volleyball or something like that. It's quite difficult. So it's quite important that parents, they always support you from behind about this education point. You have to finish the school. You have to have some degree in your hand. So me personally, I was a professional player, but I finished my master degree. It took me some time, of course, more than needed. Let's say 20 or 30% longer than it should be, like normal students. But at least now I have some degree in my pocket. So it's quite important to tell the parents, okay, it's very nice, it's very good that your kid is in the elite team. And being elite, it's quite nice. You have some privileges, and sport, especially if you're in sports academy, your education, it's quite adapted to your training sessions. So, and that's why I need to underline, if you have a possibility to be at registered at some establishment in sports education school, sports gymnasium or elementary school, it's quite important, because they will adapt your love for sport according to the education. And after that, you can decide. And I think as you have this open discussion with your kid as a parent, I think that you will see that the kid will bring a good decision at the end, because especially again, telling that you have a normal coach that supports you and tries to develop you, and also as a human, as a sportsman also, I think the kid, after that, he will come to the solution alone. From my point of view, I came to this solution alone. So I was not pushed by the parents. I was not even crazy to say that I will be the best, I will reach the stars. And like that, if you have this equilibrium and this balance in your life, I think that you have a good chance that your kid will finish in the, let's say, good hands in a good way. So I think this is quite important. And just one more thing to mention, if we while we are speaking about this elite sports, be careful about this contact with agents. We know that it became a quite a big business. This players, sportsmen. You have a lot of these contracts signed, the left and right. You have to be careful with who you are working with, and not to enter in any kind of the contracts without consulting yourself with some professional, or I don't know what to say, consultant or whatsoever. When you are young, you want to do everything. You want to go out with your friends. You know, you grow up. You have the first loves, sympathies with some girls. After that, you have other sports also, which I need to say. You need to discover the other sports. Maybe you like something, maybe not. You have some doubts. You have a lot of challenges as growing up, which is normal. You also have it if you are not in the sports. You have all that, but when you are in the sports, it's one more plus. Especially if you are in the elite team, you have this pressure of the results. You have the pressure of the injuries. You have pressure, everything that surrounds you. So I think that once again, it's quite important that you have also the support from your parents, support from the club, support from the coach, and all of that. It makes you even harder. Of course, I think that agents and this possibility, being a professional, makes you even more stressful as a young player. And I think that it has to come, like step by step, easy, without any pressure. And it's quite hard to say, but once again, I said it depends if you are really passionate for the sport, if you really follow this sport, you understand it, you have the good persons around you. You don't have these persons which says, you are the best, you do this, you do that. You also have to be clever by let's say, making a filtration about the people that surrounds you. If you look, for example, the tennis players, they have, I think, the biggest pressure on the world right now, individually. They really have to be careful. You have to be careful about what you eat, what you do. One more thing that is a new, nowadays, you have to be careful what you post on the Instagram or Facebook, because it can be taken by let's say bad reputation or something like that. So it's quite big pressure. And nowadays, that's why we have it. If you look 20 years before, we never had this mental coaches, for example. We never had some psychotherapists being with the coaches. And nowadays, if you have the big team, you have two of them. Me personally, if I take an example as a coach, before, I think my coaches that won the world championship back in the 80s, they were alone. They had the physical preparation coach, they had the goalkeeper coach, and that's it. They had a guy which took care of the equipment, and that's it. And nowadays, they have themselves, they have to be mental coaches. They have to develop their skills about how to approach each player, etc., etc., etc. So it's quite challenging. That's why I said you as a coach, because you have the most contact with the kid, even sometimes more than a parent. Because my players, I see them 5 times per week. They go to school, they play handball, they come home, and weekends they have games. Sometimes the parents, they see less their kids than me. So me, I have to be quite strong person myself, and skilled, of course. Yeah, of course, not so often to say lucky, because it would be shame. But yeah, of course, but you also have to accept that If I can take one example, it was a couple of months ago, I saw one kid. He was quite good with the coordination and in extension, jumping, and was so strong. And I said, "Where have you been until now?" And he said, "I do the karting. He's driving the small cars, karting." I said, "You really like this, and you come for the handball? Why?" "Ah, my parents, they said to me I have to do some team sport whatsoever." And as a coach, that it's such a shame that you cannot have him, but you have to accept that. But if we come for the beginning, as I said, if you look the talent, let's say, I cannot say exactly, and nobody knows exactly how much it has a impact on the sportsman of the player. If we say that the talent is a 10% and 90% is the work, so I'm not worried. If you see some kid having a potential and talent, I have 15 more kids on my field that they don't have a talent, but they have a passion for work, and I think that you don't have to be worried about that. In the handball, to be quite clear, I'm not so happy how it goes right now, and I think that much of your audience will agree with me, the handball audience, because it's a one sport that we play, and it has been played on the rules of the 80s. If we just go back in the example, because I follow, as I said, I like quite so much the basketball, even European and NBA and everything around basketball. I think this is a quite good example how we should develop, how we should look for. If we look at NBA, it became the best association in the sports right now, next to the soccer, and as an association itself, it became quite business, and we have to look this aspect also, because we don't have this no limit budgets in the clubs. We also have to look this as a financial aspect. So to come back on the basketball, 70s, we didn't have the 3-point line. And when they put it the 3-point line, it changed everything. It changed the way they play defense. It changed how the coach prepared the games, how you play attack. And nowadays, if we look at NBA players like Steph Curry and everybody who's shooting the 3-point, they're nobody. They stay at this point now. They go two steps behind. So the NBA started to think, okay, should we put the 5-point line or 4-point line or something like that, which is not so crazy. It brings something new to the sports. To compare the handball, for example, you have a lot of these discussions, should we put the shot clock? I think yes, because nowadays in our sport, I respect the referees so much, and you have a bunch of them that are quite, good guys and respectful. But you also have the other side. And in handball, for example, as a referee, you can have a big aspect on the game. You can have bigger impact on the game. Let's say one example: if the Norway selection is playing this fast break on and on and on, if you are a referee, you have to. If you receive a goal, you start from the center court. For me, this is already a nonsense, because nobody plays. If you look basketball, you score the point and you go right away under your basket. Me personally, I think that this is a good thing that we can implement in the handball. And if you go right away, if the referee wants to break up this, let's say, Norwegian system of the play, fast playing, you just say, okay, you didn't start it good from the center. Go back, you count the play, and you broke the game, you broke the team, you broke the beauty of the sport. This is one thing. Next thing, in handball, we have this rule of the passive game. I don't know if you know the rule. When the referee puts the hands up, it means that you have to shoot. You are passive. You are not attacking the goal. But this is a personal decision of the referee. So sometimes we have after 30 seconds, the referee, he says, you play the passive and you have to shoot. Sometimes you have 2.5 minutes, everything is okay. So putting in this shot clock, whatever it goes, 45 seconds or 30 minutes or 30 seconds whatsoever, I don't care. But I think it's quite important that, and from the point of the coach also, how to prepare the tactics, because you have let's say, 45 seconds to score the goal. And that's it. You have one less problem. And if we look by the infrastructure and the investment, it's nothing. You have one shot clock. Everybody has this board for the counting the score, and you are quite capable to put like a basketball. And uh, normally we play together in this same sport hall as a basketball teams. We share the sport hall, so you already have the infrastructure and everything. So why not put in that? You know, Third point also, you have this decision, for example, and to be honest, I didn't invent this. Among us, let's say the union of the coaches and European coaches, you have big discussions about this. I'm only repeating to you, for example, now, and sharing these ideas also. You have also this idea that you have the 6 meter line and 9 meter line in handball. Why not saying, for example, if you score outside from the 9 meter, you have 2 points. And let's say I'm an opponent that I'm down by 1 goal, and I have 10 seconds. I can still make a decision to take a risk and score outside from the 9 meters to win the game. You know. And for example, if I have the big players and I'm shooting from outside, that gives the opportunity for me to be an advantage because I can shoot from the outside. But if you have a team with a smaller and stronger and faster player, you can play open defense like basketball, and you have a lot of more moves. And the fact that we have, let's say now in the handball, all the time you have these players changing out and in, out and inside. Every single team now has a specialist for the defense play. And normally these kind of players, they never play in the attack, never, because they are specialists for the defense. And you have the fact that we have a lot of injured players and hard injuries because it became much more aggressive, the handball. And the fact that, what, the International Handball Federation, they say, the handball became more beautiful, we have more and more goals scoring, that's nice. Yeah, if you look the 80s results has been 17-15, now we have 35, I don't know, 40 goals. But if you look the statistics for the last 2 championships of the world and the Europe, average of the score came down. It doesn't make any sense. So not to repeat much more this kind of ideas, I think that handball itself, it's in the danger. Especially, you can see that we don't have, not to compare the contracts and the media time that you have in the handball, which is quite below the other sports. Even if you look the volleyball, if you take the women's team volleyball, it's much more followed. You have much more crowd than handball. The premiums, if you want the Champions League or something, are quite low. You cannot even compensate your cost of travel whatsoever, and much more. And the fact that you don't have so much spectators because the sports hall it's smaller. You can receive the 2, 3, 5,000. There are some teams like Kiel, or I don't know, the German teams that have 15 or 20,000. It's one drop in the sea. So from point of if we look that it's quite important, this business impact also in the sports to develop, I think the handball is quite behind. And I'm afraid if we continue like this, that even they spoke a couple of times that they will take out the handball from the Olympics. What tells you that the handball is not so interesting. And just to finish, not to take so much time from you, nowadays, if you ask one coach, even myself, I'm not ashamed of that. I'm sad. If I take my kid, for example, and somebody takes his kid to watch the game, I don't think that. Sorry, I know that 99% of the parents, they don't know how to explain the rules to the kids, because we have so much complicated these rules, and but I don't know why, but yeah, it's not the question for me. It's a question for EHF and the responsibles. But yeah, this is quite a big problem. Oh, it's quite a long period. As I said, I have also some private goals. I married. Me and my wife, we don't have kids yet. still. So my point is to become a father, to become a parent. As I was not so long ago a professional player, it's to find my routine, to find my rhythm, to have some training sessions, to go on the training myself. Also, the ex-professional players, they have a lot of ex-injuries and problems with the knees, with the back pains, whatsoever. So myself, it's quite important that I'm in the shape first of all, and uh, and only like this I can be also performant as a coach. I think it's quite important because me personally, I'm a coach that has philosophy that I like to show the exercise to the kid, and not only to speak about it, to say it. I'm a coach that likes to show them, so I also have to be performant. And also, as I said, and I repeated so many times, I like to reach as far as I can as a coach by regarding to have as much as higher license as possible. So I have to learn, I have to follow these courses and seminars. And also for myself is because I live in one region that I'm quite comfortable in this part of Switzerland next to the Geneva Lake. It's quite nice. To be honest, I didn't plan to move from here. I quite enjoy this region with my wife, which is quite important. Before everything was turning around myself as being a player. Now I also listen what she has to say and what we feel together. So while I want to stay here, I try to develop something. I try to help the region to push as much as far as possible. Nowadays we can be proud to say, okay, from our academy, we have a couple of youngsters going in the national team, in the Swiss national team. Me personally, is if while you see this logo, I also with a friend of mine, I established with the captain of the national team of Switzerland. He's the first Swiss to win the Champions League, Nicolas Portner. We established one organization called Handball No Limit. You can go on the website. You can watch a little bit. I hope you don't mind. I make some small publication for my organization, which helps. It's one summer academy that brings high level coaches from Europe with the highest degree as possible, with the experienced coaches, helping and providing the kids the performant discover of handball as a sport. And as I said, like that, we try to develop the region where we live. And yeah, of course, with my teams, I will not be honest if I don't say, yeah, I don't want to win. Of course, I want to win as much as possible games to reach as much as highest level as possible with my teams, and yeah, to progress in global with them. But as a coach, I don't have so much experience until now. I have 3 years experience behind me, and I part of my answer was in your previous question. I said in this difficult period of Corona and this all challenges that is around us and kids, especially that we talked about. My biggest goal was that they follow me, they understand me, and they have more and more passion for this handball. Among all the victories that we had and success and tears that we have, from joy and happiness, for me, this is the biggest win. That they really like handball. They started to be interested more and more for the handball as a sport, and that is a big success as a coach until now. That I need to say. I hope that I will have more of them. I hope that I will have also some trophies and whatsoever. But for now, until now, this is it. And as being a player, I need to say that from my point of view is that I had this passion for the handball and also understanding of my life that I need to finish my education, which is quite important. So if I can say it's not also related to the handball, but it is, because it was crossing over. So while I was playing, I was also studying and working and, a lot of stuff. So this is one big success of myself. And I'm quite proud of it. I have 34 years and I have degree in my hand. But not to be boring to say, I had some quite important games. Of course, while I was studying, I couldn't reach the maximum potential that I had, of course. So, but still, I had some victories. Let's My team played. They were We were vice runner-up, the vice champion of the Serbia, Yugoslavia. I was quite known as a good player, defensive, aggressive player. I played also, I had opportunity to play in different countries. I also had one experience in Estonia. I was playing a Baltic League, with amongst all the Baltic countries. We won the cup and the national championship in Estonia. This was quite interesting also for me, but most of it is like I really, from handball, when somebody asked me, okay, what is your best success, I said, uh, I never close the door with my leg. I always close the door with my hand. Nowadays, I have a lot of contacts from the high level. My friends, they play in the highest level. I can call them, I can meet them. I've been to the participating and watching some big games in the Champions League. You know, lucky we can impact the sport on another way. We can witness the sport on another way, not only the scoring the goals. So maybe somebody will say, yeah, he didn't succeed and that's why he's saying that. I'm honest. I never regret what I did. As I said, I'm quite happy. The handball brought me to Switzerland. I live a nice life, and also I have a lot of connections in Europe, and every time I call someone, they respond to me. So I'm quite happy about that, and I'm also young, so we never know what will happen in the future. So I think that while I'm around the sport and handball, and the sport that I love and passionate about, I'm quite happy. So my story goes on. Maybe, let's say, I'm quite curious if I was putting myself only in handball and not finishing my studies. I was thinking, okay, because a lot of my friends from my generation, they finished playing in the higher level, because my generation from Serbia, to go back, then the generation of 86, 87, we won the European and the World Championship as a junior team. So it was quite, every single player, he made a quite successful career. So maybe I'm quite curious what would end. Maybe I would say to myself, go reach your goals, go for your love. Try to do as much as possible, higher level you can from the handball. This could be one advice, maybe. And second advice, to have more fun, because as you see, I'm always, stressful, and I like to work. Maybe let's say to have more fun during the games and during my career. My wife asked me a couple of days ago. She asked me, "What is your favorite actor?" I said, "I don't know, but as I say, I really like the movies with the John Travolta in it. So let's say a bunch of them that he's acting. I really like. Of course, this cult film movies that everybody watched. Let's say Godfather and Scarface and the movies like this. A couple of days ago, me and my wife, we looked all of three movies, Back to the Future. I never watched it, so I watched it now, and I try to watch everything what I didn't before, like a small school that I have more time now as being out from the field as a player. I have much more time to watch it. But let's say the movies from with John Travolta. Oh, I'm also hard about this. I'm the guy that really likes. We have in Serbia, we have quite popular these instruments like truba, and I don't know, do you know it? We have one event, festival Gucha. It's all about this specific music and instrument, and I like really this ethno old songs from Serbia. So whatsoever, I really enjoy them. But I'm the guy that he's quite simple, and if I'm with the company that likes, I don't know, let's say electro music, I will listen to Carl Cox and electro music. If you want to have a glass of wine and be in this mood, let's say, of this ethno version of me, I can be it. So yeah. Dogs. I have one dog. His name is Pablo, and he's the American Staffordshire Terrier. So he's with us almost 12 years, 11 years. So I adore. I like really. I don't have nothing against the cats, but I'm the dog guy. Cold. I will not say you that because as a ex-professional athlete, I know that the sport, it's whatever you speak about. Even, I watched a couple of days ago one documentary about the Formula One, and everybody says, you are only sitting and driving a formula in the car. It's very hard, and they have also the physical preparations and mental preparations, and especially because if you are claustrophobic, you are all tight inside, you cannot move, and you have to go on and on like this. So it's quite hard. I don't think there is an easy sport. I think only that there is a ridiculous sports as the sports become more and more, like business. I like the video games, but I cannot accept never that EA will become the Olympic game sports, like playing the FIFA or whatsoever, and you can become. No, I don't accept that. So for me, I think this is ridiculous, and also all of these kinds of, I understand from the point of view that you have, let's say, basic sport, and you want to do much more around him. Let's say you want to, if you have the soccer, you have the beach soccer, you have this, you have that, you have this soccer, you have the table soccer, you have, million ways of soccer. It makes it more, let's say, popular. I understand that you have to have this around. Like we in handball, we have the beach handball also, and I can understand, but I will not understand the concept of having the competition for that. So I'm more or less a traditional guy, and I accept the new thing, but you know, let's say I'm traditional guy, and there is no boring sport. Only for me, the ridiculous one. Superpower. Fly. It's strange. It's strange because I'm afraid of the height, but I would really like to have this kind of a perspective, what it could be. Having this ability to be Air Jordan and to stay even a few seconds in the air. So for me, it would be flying. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me would I do something with it? Would I help it, or would I be just for myself to have just the other perspective, the other point of view. So yeah, let's say flying. Bear, for sure. And I know that my wife, she would laugh because she calls me a bear sometimes. Why? Because when you look at them, they are quite like funny and fluffy, and you can play with them, and they are for the kids and whatsoever. So I'm quite big. I am 190 something, and I have 100 kilos. So plus minus. But when it goes down quite hard. So I'm like this. I'm a calm guy. You can play with me. You can do whatsoever. But when I go down to you, I don't let it go. So I can be hard. I would not change it because I think it's part of the my father gave me this name. I like it. I think it's quite important, and it's not so known in Serbia. So when you do something stupid as a kid, everybody knows that it's you. But if you do something good, everybody knows it's you also. So it has both sides, positive and negative, and I wouldn't change it. And it's quite, I think, international, and you have quite among the all European countries, you have the name David or David, if you call it in France, or Tavi if you speak it on Estonian, or David if you call it in Serbia. So I don't have nothing on mind, and I wouldn't change it at all. Only thing to repeat is like have fun, while we speak about the sport, or if we speak about riding a horse, or just going out doing a hiking, or riding a bike. Just have a passion. Because I'm the guy that has a philosophy: don't do something on the half if you are if you don't have passion. But because doing half of something, with a half of power doesn't bring you anything good. It's better that you sleep very good than play handball like on the half of the power, and motivation. So for me, even sometimes I say to my kids, okay, if you don't feel to train, you stay at home. Because if you come on the half of the motivation, you risk to have injury. Because most of the time you have in the injuries like when you are not focused on something. So for me, it's like try to find what motivates you, whatever you do, and go for it, and just let it go. Let it go. It's good to have the plan in the life, of course, because I think that not planning something, it means that you plan your failure. So even if you are a coach, don't go just there on the training session doing nothing, and not thinking about anything. Prepare yourself. So I think that, and from my perspective, I can say that I always prepare my training sessions, but when I go on the field, it goes or left or right. Because of course, I'm the guy which likes sometimes to improvise, and I think it's good. Improvisation is good. You develop the other ways. But never go unprepared. So if I can give some advice, if we didn't spoke about something for now, I could say that just okay, plan something, and I'm sure that that will bring you to your goal.